I don't know what I'm bloody crazy. That's all I gotta say. I am bloody daggum crazy. Anyway, the Wrestle Kingdom 16 Night 2 is in the books as we finally concluded the 2 days of this extremely crazy extravaganza of professional wrestling. But I digress. Hello once again, everybody. Konnichiwa to you all who are watching live or on demand. It is I once again. I am the Simple Man. My name is Noah Foster, and with me, of course, we are the Simple Elite. It is, of course, my brother in New Japan Pro Wrestling and all teams wrestling, pretty much for that matter. Good to see you back once again, representing Team All Elite this time, of course. Team All Elite Hitman, Mark Griffith. Mark, how are you? We did it. We got through day 2, and it definitely pushed day 1 above and beyond.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I absolutely enjoyed night 2, and I can't wait to talk about it.
All right. Well, hey, before we get into that, I just want to give a shout out, of course, to New Japan Pro Wrestling again. Happy 50th to you. And also, it has been a wild time. Whoop, technical difficulties. And to those that haven't watched it, again, you know you can go check it out on njpwworld.com. You can, of course, see right here. This is what we are talking about. Whoop, there we go. I'm not sure what happened there. All good. And yep, we are here to talk about Wrestle Kingdom Night 2 in full, headlined by Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada, and of course, the Commonwealth Kingpin Will Ospreay to determine the real IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. But before that, there was a whole lot more that went down, including what personally feel like to me is the shortest form of New Year's Dash, since there was no official scheduled date for that or announcement or anything, and that's usually the post Wrestle Kingdom tradition. But I guess since we're 2 days, and we also have day 3 coming up where you pick a side in the Forbidden War, this was probably the most appropriate way to go based on what happened after day 1. Because we had a trio of trios matches in the dark hour before the show went on the air. A couple of things, though, to take away from this. I think we now know who's next to challenge for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Homa got a Wrestle Kingdom moment. And besides that, I'm not really sure what else to take away besides maybe Taiji's maybe kicking himself in the butt and blaming himself for kind of what happened during the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. And Shingo, who said he's going back to square one, maybe this was square zero, he got the win in that third trios. Mark, anything you want to add regarding any of those 3 trios matches we had in that dark hour?
Yeah, I'm really happy that they gave Homa the spot that they did with the flying headbutt and pinning Gato. I love that. And I also liked how Master Wato submitted the IWGP champion himself, Desperado. Um, and I just think that was a huge moment for Wato. You know what I mean? I can only imagine how Hiromu was feeling. You know what I mean? He just went to war with Desperado, and Master Wato, he submits him the very next night.
Yeah, talk about a wild change of occurrences. And Master Water put out a brand new submission, name yet to be determined. Shout out, of course, to Elizabeth. Hey, have you guys on both my laptop and cell phone? Letting you all know I'll be cheering for Noah in all but 3 matches this Saturday. I could probably guess which 3 they are, and we probably want them to be singles, but I digress. Also, the Noah show was over at 3:20 a.m., so their arrival was almost an hour after their show ended, which we will talk about. And wow, that says a whole lot considering it was the entire daggum roster. But I
Yeah.
digress. Yeah, that being said, we'll have to see how Hiromu bounces back and will he challenge Mascherano or Desperado in the inevitable time match to come if Master Wato is able to overcome a Desperado. But after a Desperado's Wrestle Kingdom statements in his victory, I have a funny feeling he is not going to let go of this title anytime soon. And as far as for Shingo
No.
goes, only time will tell. All
Oh, and
right.
also real quick, I do want to say it was a bit of a treat to see Hiromu and Zack Sabre Jr. in the same ring. We don't get that a lot, so that was
No.
cool to see in the third match.
I feel like that could be a good exhibition of things to come because that'd be an interesting clash of styles because Hiromu is anything but technical, and it'd be very curious for me to see how Zack Sabre Jr. would, well, slow him down. We have seen Hiromu tap out, of course, though, to Robbie Eagles, so we all know that Hiromu, he can be submitted. So we'll have to wait and see, but very good point. And of course, also we had the hostess thanking everybody, arigato, of course, for everything they've done during the pandemic related to all these restrictions and still keeping the lion spirit of New Japan Pro Wrestling going forward. I like her perky personality. I just wish I knew Japanese better. Maybe I'll Rosetta Stone that.
Hmm.
Anyway, as we go into our main show, we kick off with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Trios match. As the champions, the Flying Eagles come in to defend against Bullet Club's cutest tag team, Tachimori and Phantasmo, and the Mega Coaches, Ryusuke Taguchi, and King of Sneaky Style, Rocky Romero. The biggest takeaway I have from this is, boy, did that boot get used, but finally, conspiracy Jesse Ventura, it's finally been solved in case you've been trying to figure it out. It has been exposed. Piece of metal inside the boot, and it looks like he's finally going to pay for all his transgressions, and started there as we found the referee ejected Bullet Club from the match, became a traditional tag team match. I gotta say though, Tiger Mask, when he was kicked right out of the gate before the bell rang, he came in pretty strong and definitely made El Phantasmo pay for that, as El Phantasmo stomped the midsection, the hands of everybody. He basically became a victim of his own device, taking out Tyson Mori, and all four held him down to finally expose that boot. So now I'm very curious what El Phantasmo is going to do going forward to maybe get victories. Maybe he'll take himself a bit more seriously. I mean, that's a hard thing to just ask for, but I digress. In the end, though, Record Mail put out some great sneak, but unfortunately got submitted by Robbie Eagles in the Raw Miller special, and the Flying Tigers overcame the odds, and all the shenanigans aside, shenanigans galore when you figure about the coaches also are sneaky themselves, and they retain the titles. I gotta admit, this kind of surprised me because usually these titles, they have changed hands. Mark, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, it definitely surprised me, and I'm glad they kind of got to the bottom of the whole Phantasmo boot thing because he was. Let me tell you, he's been working that boot for a long time, almost to the point to where the narrative Kevin Kelly said, "Are is he going to have all these wins stripped from him?" I mean, as far as all the wins that he got because of this hunk of metal, I guess that's probably later on down the line if they want to discuss that. But either way, going forward, I have no idea what he's going to do now because the secret's out. What's he going to do now? But still, this is the thing. El Phantasmo is still one of the best wrestlers in the world, and I'm sure he'll manage without the hunk of metal. But as far as getting it a sneaky way and cheating and all that, I think the metal it pretty much put that to bed.
Yeah, pretty much. As Elizabeth said, the opening match for night 2 was awesome. I kind of agree with ELP that he was framed. Could not believe what I saw. Well, seeing is believing, and there you have it. So unless you think ELP is going to say, someone else put that in my boot, I had no idea, when it's private that was a backstage thought, he's done. He's busted. I don't know how he can carry sudden death going forward. Maybe he can actually go kick trees in Canada now. But overall, congratulations to Robbie Eagles. And what a comeback ever since overcoming diverticulitis and now coming into Wrestle Kingdom as tag team champion. What a comeback and what a moment for Tiger Mask 2. And I guess Rocky Romero, he's still looking to be number 69. Will it happen, though? We'll have to wait and see. I feel like the mega coaches, though, they're probably going to rethink strategy, game plans, maybe separate for a while, because at the end of the day, it was Rocky Romero, that team, that ate the lost. So that pretty much takes them out of contingency as far as I'm concerned. And we'll see how much farther the Flying Tigers go this year, carrying the junior heavyweight tag team division, because I know there's a lot of competition in it. Kudos to
Yeah.
them.
Do you think
Backstage,
Go
go
you
ahead.
think Taguchi? Do you think he regrets not making Master Wato his teammate instead of choosing Rocky Romero?
Well, I mean, him and Wato did go after El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kawamaru, but they also lost too. I don't think necessarily he regrets it. I think at the end of the day, Taguchi is just going to do what Taguchi wants to do because he's the coach, he calls the plays, and I feel like he and Rocky have a bit more mutual respect among each other and
Sure.
kind of can understand each other better than him and Master Wato can. And Master Wato right now looks like he has singles expedition towards maybe El Desperado's title down the line. Backstage celebration, Robbie Eagles drank from ELP's boo was really weird to me. Okay, unsanitary. Ugh. Jeez. That's all I gotta say about that. Jeez. All right. Mark, let me ask you a question. How much do you know about Stardom? Have you followed it? Do you understand like the talent that's been involved in it, talent that has come from it that we know, particularly in WWE and AEW? I want to get your initial thoughts towards this special match because for me, Mayu Iwatani, Starlight Kid, Tem Nakano, and Saya Kamitani, they definitely opened the world to what women's professional wrestling is at the highest level. This was great, fast-paced action, and I really enjoyed this match. Your thoughts?
My thought is I'm glad you opened this by asking me that, because this is what I'm going to tell you. That was my very first Stardom match that I've ever seen, and I've been wanting to get into Stardom.
Wow.
And you know why the Stardom match was in this slot is for it to do exactly what it did for me. And that was the first time, and that's to put eyes on Stardom, and that's what they did. That was the first time I seen them, and as soon as that bell rang and I seen the acceleration from both women on how
Huh.
they went, I said, "Oh my God, this is a different level." And I had only watched 10 seconds. Just the speed from them competitors, it was almost like a different level. It really was, man, and I really enjoyed it. And since I didn't know who nobody was going into it, as they came down, I put down my notes, like the color of their attire next to their name, so I would know exactly who I was looking at. And Taya, I think her last name is. She impressed me. Saya. I'm sorry.
I knew you were talking about Sai. It's the first name. Continue.
Yeah, she was the one that stood out from the four, man. She was really good.
The Golden Phoenix, of course, is not the first time that Star has been on NJPWWorld.com, but I do love the fact that you now acknowledge what Stardom is. And if you want to get a little more of Stardom's idea, they were involved back in the MetLife Dome. Go check out Grand Slam, the special tag matches from there. As Saya Iwatani has been involved in all three of these tag showcases and owned them. It was great for Chris Charlton to give us a little bit of background on all four of these amazing athletes, as well as the unit warfare that Stardom has, just like New Japan Pro Wrestling, as four key factions of basically the five factions of Stardom were represented here. As we saw out in the early going, basically former allies now in their own unit, Starlight Kid and Mayu Itami, they had the fast start. They showed great tag team chemistry. Then lost the beat with the dueling moonsaults and then the elevated assisted splash in the corner. Of course, we saw how Tem Nakano and Saya, they demonstrated not only respect, but good tag team offense as well, isolating a Starlight Kid at one point, and both demonstrating great moonsaults expertise over the ropes. There was some great exchanges here, some stiff strikes, by the way. At one point, we saw Saya try and Marty Straw Starlight Kid, but it wasn't meant to be. And then another way that Starlight Kid and her were trying to exchange in a flash pin combination, we saw a schoolboy, schoolgirl, whatever you want to call it, crucifix type variation. It was not enough. At one point, we did get, of course, almost a Moodalock, I thought, as the legs were trapped, but Tem Nakano broke that submission up. It looked like Starlight Kid was maybe going to submit Saya. Wasn't meant to be. In the very end, though, Mayu Itami, she was rendered pretty much a non-factor after a tiger suplex by Tem Nakano. Ouch! And then we saw Saya hit the Star Crusher, and then the Phoenix may soar, because we all know, or now you know, that Saya draws influence also from Kota Ibushi, as she is known as the Golden Phoenix. And the Golden Phoenix hit the Phoenix Splash on Starlight Kid to get the victory in a very high speed, well performed tag team special showcasing of the brightest in Stardom. And as they enter their 11th year, they are going to go higher than ever before in professional wrestling this year. Expect big things for Stardom. What I also loved about this, the background that Mayu Itami, who's basically the ace of Stardom, aka the icon, she owns victories over all three of these other ladies and is undefeated against them in singles action. She was not even involved in the decision. The team lost, but at the end of the day, it was a tie that fell to Queen's Quest, which is funny because as a Stardom fan, that's continuity. Because another member of Queen's Quest, Asume, is looking for vengeance against a traitor in now Black Peach, Momo Watanabe, who's now part of Red Tai. While Starlight Kid has been the master manipulator and maybe impromptu recruiter for Red Tai, Mayu Itami, leader, ace of Stardom, face of Stardom, and of course, creator and leader of Stars. In the end, it was Saya Umatami, who was the current, might I add, Wonder of Stardom champion and member of Queen's Quest, with tag partner Tem Nakano, who she took the title off of, the leader of Cosmic Angels, who was basically looking to maybe one up or get out of Mayu Itami's shadow. It was that duo that got the win here. And now we'll have to see, okay, when will Tam and Saya meet once again for that title? Because yes, we respect each other, but at the end of the day, I want that white belt back. Will we see the high-speed champion Starlight Kid maybe come after the white title herself? Or is Asume going to go after her too? Will Mayu Itami go after either of these women, or maybe look for something bigger in the Wonder of Stardom Championship held by Siri, the only representative, I might add, unable to be in this match, who drew a blank straw and is a member of Donna Del Mundo, and is also the SWA Women's Champion as well. Major things to think about as Stardom definitely gave us a lot of teasers of maybe matches to come, and maybe why you want to see this more, as Mark alluded to. But overall, I really enjoyed this tag team showcase. This was a great match. Congratulations to Stardom and all four of these ladies, the ring announcer and the Stardom referee. It was all Stardom focused here. Only thing that wasn't Stardom was the ring. It was a New Japan ring. So congrats to Stardom as a whole for this incredible moment in history, 20 years plus later, having a match on Wrestle Kingdom. And I certainly hope it's not the last. All right. Now, let's go ahead and move on. You can tell how much of a fan of Stardom I am. Now, let's go ahead and move on from there as we go into the KOPW Fatal 4-Way match, where we had freaking Gano taking on Minoru Suzuki, Chase Owens, and of all people, I never thought I would say this name, Seema. All I gotta say is, yay.
Mhm.
Mark, give me some thoughts towards this match in some moments. This was very fun for me for once.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, man. And Seema looked good. Seema looked damn good. And one of my favorite spots is I'm sure you remember this is and first I want to say Owens is clearly scared of Suzuki. I want to say that.
Who isn't scared of Suzuki?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But one of my favorite spots was where Seema where I have it in my notes. Seema has Yano in like a standing leg submission almost, and Suzuki would strike Seema, and Yano would be paying the price because of you know what I'm talking about. I can't exactly remember what the submission was, but as he was getting striked, Yano kept on paying the price every single time Seema would throw the strike, and I thought that was great.
That's brilliant.
Exactly, and I just think that overall, some of the strikes were very stiff. I got that down there, and what else? Oh, the Gotch style power driver for the win, Suzuki. I got that written down. But yeah, outside of that, it was a great and fun match. That was probably one of my favorite King of Pro Wrestling style matches since they've been doing this, since the trophy has been in its inception. Man, I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I gotta agree. And Elizabeth says KOPW match was something else. Surprised but happy who won that trophy. All the nonsense is now over. As Chris John says, what hell awaits us? The king is the king. The king of professional wrestling is the king. I couldn't be happier with the result and the fact that he got it, crushing Toru Yano. And the fact that Toru Yano suffered so much in this match just makes me happy. Okay, that's a bit of sadist in me, but I am Suzuki Gun Pro, Casanina Ray. That being said, yeah, Minoru Suzuki was definitely the biggest threat here. At one point, we even had Chase Owens and Yano. I can't believe I said those two names in the same sentence, working together just to make sure the king was a non-factor. It wasn't for very long, though. Eventually, Yano, he was obliterated by all three. And then we saw Seema Minoru Suzuki, maybe a teaser of things to come. I want to see that singles match. Those two exchanged a little bit. And then Chase Owens tried to test his will, and he probably regretted it and got dropped for it with one stiff shot. Then friggin' Yano came into play. Shenanigans aside, he takes the turnbuckle pad off. He tries for some other shenanigans and gets caught, like you said, drop toe hold into what seemed like a Muda lock, but it wasn't because Suzuki basically made sure that Seema tested his will against him, but not before Chase Owens ate an exploder suplex, and then we saw the first time that Yano's lace was wrenched, and this made me very happy. And as you said, not once, not twice, but three times, Yano just begging, stop hitting it, okay, break this thing off, save my lace, okay? And then eventually we see Chase Owens lock a sleeper in the Suzuki, and on Seema, and everybody's trapped in a submission, but Yano's still suffering the worst. Finally gets to the ropes, force everybody to break it up. And then I was about to freaking go cornet style rant because, oh, what happened? My monitor went out. Freaking double low blow. I was like, no. And thank God that Suzuki kicked out of that nonsense and made Yano pay for it with a drop kick, the snap around sleeper, and the Gotch style power driver. And now the king is the king of professional wrestling. I cannot wait to see what this man does to really make this thing legitimate, but also his form of pro wrestling. While that's scary for everybody else, that excites me. But of course, Yano still got the last laugh, handcuffing the king to the ropes. Suzuki's going to kill Yano before this year is out. I really feel like he's going to, or he's damn sure going to try to, all right? Because you embarrass the king after he already claimed victory over you. Do you have a death wish, Yano? You must. But so help me, Yano better not win this thing from Suzuki. I was just happy that Suzuki won this. And again, the king of professional wrestling. The king is the king. Perfect tagline. I can't wait to see what's next. And Yano, you best run for your life. All right. Moving on from there. Good freaking Lord Almighty. Do I even need to really talk about this match? Seriously, this should have been on the friggin'. I remember when the six-man neverweight tag titles used to be part of a friggin' like open gauntlet match on the friggin' Dark Hour. This didn't need to be on Wrestle Kingdom. This was absolute waste of my time. The only saving grace was Ishii tried to restore some validity to this, but it's in the end, shenanigans aside, a freaking wrench, a low blow, and freaking House of Torture kept the damn titles. And now it seems like Yoshihashi and Roki Goto are maybe setting themselves up for a very dark negotiation that I hope doesn't bite them in the ass. Mark, any thoughts on this match? And I don't know about you, but I think Yoshihashi and Goto are not approaching this smart.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I will say that I feel like Show after night one, when they went back in the locker room and they were talking about having this trios match the next night, I think they just said, you know what, we're gonna try that game plan you had. We're gonna try it again because he brought the wrench out again, and that was what ultimately got the win was the wrench socking so I feel like that's what he tried the first night and it just didn't work. And I feel like if that would have went a little differently the first night, we would have had a different winner. But the plan did succeed the second night. I wasn't very happy about it, but I didn't expect anything less. We knew what we were going to get with the House of Torture match, and like you said, it was almost a waste of time. I don't know why they did it. It could have been on the road too, or something. It didn't have to be a Wrestle Kingdom match, but either way, we got what we thought we were going to get. So.
Yeah, true that. Watch Dark Shadows as the fourth match took place. Done with House of Torture. I think everybody done with the dadgum House of Torture. But that's all I gotta say about that. So, duly noted, my friend. Duly noted. Okay. Now, before we get into our next match, as Elizabeth alluded to in the very beginning, Mark, did you expect the entire Pro Wrestling Noah roster led by Kaiji Muto to invade Wrestle Kingdom, take control of that ring, and make their statement known that we are here to prove that New Japan fans are foolish and we are the premier professional wrestling company, not just in Japan, but in the world? That was nuts.
Yeah, I would say that I wish that more members of New Japan locker room came out more than just Shingo, Hiromu, and Bushi. I wish they would have brought half the locker room out there to him because let me tell you what Noah did. They tried to make a statement in the biggest show of the year, the 50th anniversary Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. They came and they stood in the middle of that ring and they said that we're here and we're going to try to change the pecking order around here. And I felt offended because I'm flying that New Japan flag. So I was like, man, why don't half that locker room come out there and show them who's boss? And of course, we're going to show them who's boss come the 8th. But there was only 3 members of LIJ, excuse me, that to come out there. And I was hoping that everybody came out there. But you know what? In due time, Nova's going to get theirs, and I can't wait for the 8th.
And again, despite being tag team faction showcasing, it seems this is really a forbidden war. This is a war for pride more than anything else. As, of course, the arrogant Keno would question NJPW status at the top promotion in Japan, suggesting they are enlisting Noah to assist them in drawing the sold-out House of Yokohama, which, again, is sold out. And this is coming straight from NJPW 1972 because, again, I don't understand Japanese, but I can understand how important this was and how big this feels and also how personal this might feel, too. Personally, maybe more so for professional wrestling than NJPW. Like you said, only Shingo came, and why he said, okay, I'll take on the whole army. I mean, but at the end of the day, Kennel's like taunting him, saying, okay, you're running with like a coward. It's friggin' 35 against 3. What'd you expect, all right? He's not friggin' foolish, but I also think Shingo's not fearing anything either. Bottom line, the 8th is going to be very interesting. And whether I watch it on the Bema live or a week later, which it will be available a week later on njpwworld.com on demand, it's going to be, I think, a show to remember and definitely change some mindsets going forward in 2022 when it comes to Japanese professional wrestling. This Saturday, Go, Masa, and Kotoge are going to be cheered by NJPW simply because we're sick of the House of Torture. You know what? You're not wrong there, because again, the House of Torture is in action during that day. If I am going to freaking derail myself from New Japan Pro Wrestling, it will be literally any match that involves House of Torture, including the exhibition singles for show. Sorry, not sorry, but I digress. All right. As we go into, of course, our intermission type break and whatever, we also learn a bit about, I would say, the first part of their schedule coming up this year in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We, of course, know we're going to get the New Japan Cup. They have a special tour come up, forget the name. We also know Dontaku, which I imagine is got to be the next biggest show of the year. It's going to be even bigger because they're going to be in a bigger venue. So kudos to them. But I'm curious what else awaits New Japan Pro Wrestling this year. Further announcements, big time venues and stuff like that. Just like I'm curious about Stardom. Again, I think it's going to be a super big special year for both those two companies in particular, beyond anybody else in professional wrestling. That's really all I got to say about that for right now until I get more details. All right. Now let's go
Yeah.
ahead and go into the continuation of our Wrestle Kingdom night with our special singles matches, starting with this one. This one was very interesting to me for a couple of reasons because I felt like this was not really necessarily a wrestling match where someone was out to make that they are worthy of a championship, but more so whose wrestling is more valid and also whose pride is stronger. Mark, take it away. Give me your thoughts and takeaways and moments from this match, Sonata and Great Khan.
Man, I want to tell you, I really, 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 really like this match, man. I told you the review after night one that this was ironically one of the matches I was looking forward to the most after night
Yes.
one. Going into night one, I didn't. Watching that six-man match about them kind of like trading off on each other's styles, that hooked me. So going into this, Khan worked the face early because you already know how he felt. He wanted to go and show the pretty boy. He wanted to show the pretty boy up on his pretty boy wrestling. So he worked the face early for the Iron Claw. And one thing that I liked is Sonata kept baiting Okan, even as early on as the six man from day one, as far as slingshotting himself over the rope. And you could see night one, he was about to do it, but he didn't do it. Come the second night, he was going to do it again. Sonata baited him again, but this time he did it. He did jump over there and he landed it. And I just
What?
thought that was cool. And I can't remember exactly what submission that Okan used. I think it was, what was it called? The sheep killer. I thought
Yeah,
that
Sheep
was pretty
Killer.
cool. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Let me tell you, Sonata had a great. Well, you know what? I'm gonna save that opinion for the next match. I don't want to say it right now. I will say that Khan had the great idea, and but long story short, Sonata he got the win. I mean, I don't know exactly what it was. It was some type of reversing type of I don't know what you call it, like a backspin something. I don't know what type of roll up it was. It was what he usually does. I don't know the exact term for it, but he got the roll up win, and I popped for it. I was really happy Sonata got that.
It's called a Japanese leg roll clutch, according to what I remembered Chris Charlton alluding to. A fundamental wrestling move out of Sonata's playbook. But despite the fact that, again, Great Khan literally tried to play Sonata's game and humble him, literally sitting on him like a throne, saying that I am going to make you bow before United Empire and grovel before me. It was Sonata's own wrestling and Great Khan's bravado that I think cost him in the end. Because like you said, Great Khan used Sonata's playbook countless times. We saw him do a top rope plunge. I never thought I see that. And then towards the very end, he did the moonsault, multiple counters to the skull end. And again, Sonata, he did not break what he is, and that is his form of professional wrestling. Practically no strikes and focusing on technical, of course, ability. And then at one point, literally, Great Khan knocked him out with a perfect straight right. Dropped that board where he stood. I thought that was it. But in the end, it was Great Khan's, I feel like, ego got the better of him as he went to Sonata's game. He hit the moonsault, but apparently didn't get all of it effective enough, and Sonata was able to counter, roll through into that clutch. And I feel Great Khan even knew during that because you saw he was trying to get out of it, I think, but he couldn't. Sonata got the victory. So at the end of the day, it was Great Khan's pride that was hurt, and now Sonata, second time in a row in singles action at Wrestle Kingdom, has gotten the win. And while, again, he has the crowd support. People believe in Sonata. People respect Sonata. People may like Sonata for his looks too. That might be another thing. But you gotta wonder, though, what does Sonata maybe need to do to push himself to that next level? And is he able to? Or at this point, are the fans just content with the way Sonata does himself? Because at the end of the day, it got the win over here over Great Khan. Even Eri Hanare tried to point it out. You need to watch out for what Sonata does, and it was not meant to be. That's 2 losses in a row on Wrestle Kingdom now in singles action for Great Khan. And while Great Khan to me
Yeah,
has some sort of like potential, I feel like, and can really adapt to almost any wrestler style, similar to Kota Ibushi in a way, he needs to get more wins here. This is a tough night for Great Khan, to say the least. Let's see here.
Yeah, I
Despite
was
the result,
actually.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying I was actually surprised. Even though I picked Sonata, I was actually the whole during the whole match, I was thinking, Mark, you picked the wrong one. Khan is definitely going to win this here, and actually Sonata pulled it off, and that's what shocked me is because I feel like Khan should have gotten this match because they said going into it that these two gentlemen here had the most wins in New Japan, 1 and 2. One had 86 and one had 80. I couldn't remember exactly which one had 86, but I've been one of the ones that's been a Sonata fan for the longest time, and I told you before that I feel like he's missing something. I don't know what it is. I mean, he's got the look. He's got I just think he needs a little bit more charisma. But we've been saying that for a long time. We've been saying that for a long time, and I feel like they've got their faith and they're behind Sonata because it's showing up in the record books. He's got the most wins in New Japan this year, either first or second. I couldn't, one or the other. And I just think that there's something missing. And I don't know if you know what it is. I don't know if the fans know what it is. I don't even know if who's booking the stuff in New Japan knows what it is. But Sonata is missing something. And I hope he finds it this year in 2022.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Despite the result, Okan really shined against Sonata. I agree. Again, Okan wanted to beat Sonata with his keyword Sonata's wrestling. He nearly did. At the end of the day, though, Sonata proved that this is my style of wrestling for a reason. I'm sure that Milano Collection AT was very proud. By the way, shout out to Milano Collection AT, who apparently had great influence over Saya and her professional wrestling back in that Stardom match, too. Can't believe that plunge and moonsault he did. OMG. Yeah, who knew Great Khan could fly? And again, might be more things to figure about going forward when it comes to Great Khan. What is he capable of and how far will he go? But Great Khan definitely needs to pull stuff together, in my opinion, more so right now than Sonata. And also she said, Wrestling Taco and Fukuoka Dome, insane. Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's a huge venue. All right. And from there, from our other special singles match, we go to a game of Tranquilo and Power as Jeff Cobb took on, of course, Los Economics de Japon's Tetsuya Naito. And I feel like, again, right here, Jeff Cobb feels like, I respect Naito. I like what he brings. I'm all about Tranquilo. I'm Hawaiian, okay? We made the word up. And in the early going, it did seem Tranquilo until he finally got that last piece of clothing off, and Jeff Cobb went on the attack. And pretty much that was the story of this match. But brilliant by Naito, who at the end of the day stuck to his game plan, despite the fact that Cobb's power at every turn was the difference maker. But the constant attack against the knee. Even though he drove Naito full spine first, might I add, and delayed vertical suplex position twice against the steel ring post and dropped him on the floor and continued working on the lower back area of Tetsuya Naito, which definitely helped slow down the way to Destino, especially the first time when he couldn't do it. However, when Jeff Cobb tried to go for the tour of the islands, all that work over the knee, he constantly kept attacking the knee, just like he did during the Road to. It was enough to prevent Jeff Cobb from even pulling off the tour of the islands. At one point, he transferred the tour of the islands into a submission hold, and it was Jeff Cobb's awareness and striking the hell out of Naito that allowed him to break that up. In the end, it was a Destino, but he did seem slow to follow up afterwards, but it still was enough, and Naito got the win. And this is surprising to me for a couple of reasons because Jeff Cobb had one of the best years last year, too. Again, he made history. He went 8 in a row in the G1. Nobody else has ever done that in G1 Climax history in that type of field. And I personally thought that Jeff Cobb, this was his night to win here. He previously got a win, might I add, over Okada in the MetLife Dome. So this result kind of surprised me, especially with Naito, who said he was going to be in the main event this year at Wrestlekingdom and wasn't. But here, he felt like he had to make sure that this was my main event. In a way, he did. Mark, your thoughts on this match?
This is another match that Kevin Kelly on the walk down during the entrance kind of helped me make up my mind on what's going to happen here. And the speech that he gave during Naito's walk down, I was like, man, you know what? He's right, man. This is because he's got more of his career behind him than he does in front of him. We both know. So like, this is a big spot for him. And after already claiming that he wanted to be in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom this year, I feel like he was going to follow this up by he had to have a big performance. And this is the thing. He had the perfect game plan against Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb has almost been unbeatable for over a year now. Like you said, he went 8-0 in the G1. I think he's only got one loss which was, I believe, Okada.
Correct.
And it's just like that. Jeff Cobb, he's being pushed and pushed hard, and I felt like this was how you put a lid on it. You make him win this match here, and then he's the one that addresses the winner of the main event tonight. I thought that's what should happen. But you know what? Naito had the perfect game plan. He attacked the knee early and often. He even put him in a, what was the submission you referred to? The Indian Deathlock. I had
Indian
never seen
Deathlock.
it before. Indian Deathlock. So he definitely went for that knee and he stuck on him. And let me tell you, the power that Jeff Cobb showed during that match,
Oh,
he had Naito up in a standing suplex. He rammed him up against the post on the outside, kept him up, and then followed through to him all the way down to the pavement on the outside. Incredible strength. But like I said, that game plan was the difference maker, and Naito won because of that.
yeah, but again, Jeff Cobb with the power on hand from the power bomb to that ridiculous lariat at one point, turning Naito inside out, upside down. Again, it was a hard-fought fight still for Naito to win, but despite the fact he was getting his bell rung, Naito stuck to what he said what he felt he needed to do. And again, he made a perfect match work in his favor. About Naito, so over the weekend, Nakajima wanted Naito. Naito wanted Nakajima. I believe Naito impressed Nakajima with that win over Jeff Cobb. Well, honestly, at that point, it should be a singles match if that's the case. But again, maybe this Forbidden War will lead to those singles matches we were hoping for January 8th later down the line. Maybe Dontaku. I don't think this is the only time this year that Noah and NJPW are going to be facing off against each other either.
No.
Once that match was announced, knew Naito would win, but wow, the way he won. He truly did a number on Jeff Cobb. Yeah, he did. He exploited one key body part, and it was all he needed to slow down Cobb's momentum enough where he couldn't pull off Tour of the Islands, and that was the difference maker. If Cobb
Yep.
could have pulled off that Tour of the Islands, we would have had a different result, I felt like, bar
Yep.
none.
He failed
All
twice.
right. Yeah, look at that. Tranquilo. All right. Now we move on to our semi-main event, and good Lord Almighty, you talk about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. I felt like it was a little bit more the opposite here when you consider what had to happen in order for victory to occur, but also what happened to the one that was going for it all too. It was, of course, the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship no DQ match between Hiroshi Tanahashi and the current champion, Kenta. Mark, take it away, man. This was an all-out war. They pulled everything out.
In other words, I'll take Kelly's words right out of his mouth. A lifetime of rule breaking in one match. And that's
Perfect
kind of like
sentence.
that's the best way to sum it up, man. And this is the thing. This wasn't Tanahashi's atmosphere of wrestling.
Mm-mm.
He's not used to this. And it's almost like he felt a little guilty for doing the things that he was doing because he knows that's not how you're supposed to do things and not the way he was brought up and how he wrestles. I mean, that's how I looked at it anyway. And let me tell you, just some of the spots in that match were incredible. I will say the ladder spot with Kenta trying to put the ladder back together, that was amazing. I will say I'm glad that Kenta followed up with a little bit of punishment to Tanahashi because it did take him quite 3 or 4 minutes to seem like to finally get that ladder right. But
Yeah.
you know what? I've always said to myself, the person that sets the ladder up or the table up is usually 9 times out of the 10 the person who takes the spot. And eventually, Kenta missed. We all know that. But then Tanahashi went up there, and that frog splash, my God, that's going to be a highlight reel that we see for years. That it just seemed like it was so high. It just seemed that that frog splash, he truly looked like he fell from the heavens. And it was a great match. I can say I was entertained. But I don't think Tanahashi wanted to win like that, and it was written all over his face after.
Yeah, I mean, my God. They pulled everything out, starting each with a kendo stick and Tanahashi with the caning, and then Kenta gets the better of Tanahashi, whacking him in the face with IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. And then Kenta pulls out all the stops, trash can lid, multiple chairs, an old friend that briefcase, which everybody's like, oh, I remember that, where he clocked him in the head with it. At one point, literally had him trapped. Tanahashi had Kenta trapped in submission hold. In that case, literally got clocked over Tanahashi's head. But Tanahashi, he definitely was pissed off to a degree. And again, he was fighting more so with himself versus Kenta. At one point, pulling out, of all things, an actual guitar, not an air guitar, and smash it over Kenta's head. A whole different tune that I don't think Kenta enjoyed one bit. And then you continue going forward with the callback to Corrigan Hall. He wanted the revenge. We got the stack of chairs, Sling Blade onto the chairs, running drop kick in the corner with all those chairs. He goes for the high fly flow on the chairs, though, and crashes and burns, a victim of his own devices. As this match kept going down the line, corner here, when a table had to be a table at some point, right? When a table came into play and both men were up, oh no, in the corner, top rope. And even though he did get that game-changing pop-up left in Kenta's jaw, it was Kenta who got the better with an avalanche falcon arrow to the point that Red Shoes even said, oh my god. And this is Red Shoes we're talking about, the guy that is literally no nonsense and also very non-reactive. Again, you're supposed to be the most emotionalist role in an emotionally driven environment. That being said, though, Kenta, yeah, he went for the Hail Mary here, pulling out the ladder of ladders. I guess New Japan has different type of ladders, but the way he was trying to put it together, the crowd was just laughing too. It was like, I don't know. He obviously was asking Red Shoes. I was like, Red Shoes like, I'm not getting anywhere near that thing. And as Tanahashi laid dead to rights, it seems, somewhat prone, finally got another table. Much easier to let that table to play, as you called it. And this was the second time, by the way, that Kenta went face first through a trash can, as earlier, Kenta was swung with a trash can over his head with a chair by Tanahashi. At the end of the day, Kenta, who truly could have got the win much earlier, let's be honest here, he wanted to end the ace, but as many before, all have failed. And boy, did he fail hard. As Tanahashi and the crowd was on the edge of their seats, got up, not the ladder enough to cause Kenta to fall off face first into a trash can and bust himself wide open. And Tanahashi screaming either against himself, against Kenta, maybe against the world. He ascended up to the heavens, like you said, the highest of highs with the ultimate high fly flow, crashing down perfectly on Kenta through the table.
Perfect.
A bloody, broken man. And Tanahashi wins the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. But at the end of the day, does Tanahashi feel like a champion? Does Tanahashi feel victorious? I don't think so, because as they even alluded to, remember when he called Kenny Omega classless using tables and these shenanigans, and this should not be used in New Japan Pro Wrestling. At one point, Chris Charlton even thought that maybe Tanahashi was thinking himself as a hypocrite. I feel like deep down that Tanahashi kind of feels that way, and I feel that he's going to do everything he can to avoid this going forward ever again. But at the end of the day, he asked Kenta, name your stipulations. I will do anything for the chance to get this title back. Kenta named the stipulation. Tanahashi, whether he wanted to or not, took full advantage of it and brought out the worst in himself. And at the end of the day, it brought out the win. Not much to say besides that, but now we know. As far as the Forbidden Door goes, Tanahashi has that golden ticket. Where does it take him next? Does he fulfill that promise? Do we finally get that match that was teased in the first place by Jon Moxley? And as far as Kenta goes, he did have one key opponent he wanted to defend the title against. Well, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see when that happens, if ever. It was probably with Shibata, but it is what it is. Thought Kenta would retain, but was so into the match. Wasn't mad at who won. Can only pray Kenta will be okay for Saturday. Yeah, that's true, because again, Kenta got messed up. Broken finger going into, well, his phone might have died, folks. Either that or he got a call. Technical difficulties. But before I continue, let me just go ahead and read her notes. One thing I want to add, I believe Kenta putting that ladder together was his downfall. Took too long getting it set up. Yeah, I think there's definitely some truth to that. Again, it took like 2 to 3 minutes, and that wasn't like a standard U.S. ladder where you just get the braces up in the middle. He literally had to unhook and then hook and unhook and hook. Okay, there we go. We got him back. All good, Mark?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about that.
That was a phone call. It's all good, man. Yeah, like you said, Mark, it took way too long for that ladder to be set up. At the end of the day, that was Kenta's downfall. I feel like he could have just literally did the Falcon Air, GTS, maybe a second GTS, maybe a third GTS, and call it a day. I understand the moment you were going for, Kenta, with the double stomp from hell, but at the end of the day, you had a high fly flow from the heavens, and it gave Tanahashi the title. And whether you agree with it or disagree with it, it is what it is. Now, where does Kenta go from here? Is he done yet? Or does he make another moment? We'll have to wait and see. Overall, I just know he's going to get his face checked out because, yeesh, nasty, nasty landing. Okay. As we move on from there, we go into our main event to crown the true and real and one and only IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. As it was Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, who defeated Shingo Takagi on January 4th. My God, what a match. Taking on the Commonwealth Kingpin, bringing his own new entrance, a new vibe to his music, leading his empire strong, talking about how he's defeated everybody. I'm, of course, talking about Will Ospreay. I only got one thing to say before I give this to you, Mark. This was superhuman levels of incredible professional wrestling. My God, what we saw have happened between these two. Take it away.
Good Lord, where do I start, man? Like, I want to say that for night 2 of notes, I had 3 pages total. I had a full page just on the main event, and I'm not going to go through my notes. There's no way I could read all this to you. There's just no way. I'm going to leave the meat and potatoes to you as far as that, but I will go a few spots that I liked as far
Please
as this.
do.
One is Okada kept his weight on him early. I did notice that. When Ospreay did the spinning sidewalk slam, I had never seen him do that before. That was awesome. I really liked that. I also liked the moonsault off of like the lighting tower. I believe that's what that was. That was great.
Callback to a previous Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Man, there's just so much. There's so much I could go into. Just man, like I'm almost, there's almost so much I'm speechless, and I just don't want to like deteriorate
over explain it. Trust me, I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly. I will say that at the end, Kevin Kelly said something about how this match was eerie, similar to the Okada Omega match. I wasn't 100% sure on what he meant by that. I'll have you explain that in your explanation. But I can say that this is definitely 100% a match of the year candidate already in January. What I'm going to say is not going to do it any justice. I was going to tell you in the beginning, I'm going to roll the red carpet actually out for you on this one, because these are actually 2 of my favorite New Japan, which is Okada and Will Ospreay. So this match alone, I've got a lot of emotion tied up into this one. And of course, I wanted Ospreay to win. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, you know what? It was the Rainmaker's day, and you just weren't going to touch the Rainmaker, not today. And I don't know about the future, and what Will Ospreay's future plans are going to be. But this was the Rainmaker's day on the Rainmaker's night. So, and I don't think anybody, not even Will Ospreay, could have took out the Rainmaker today. But as far as the rest of the match goes, I'll hand that over to you.
I'll go ahead and look at a couple notes real quick from Elizabeth here. You've talked company warfare in this match. NWW 1, Noah 0, since Kenta representing Noah in Yokohama Arena. And maybe that was a jinx on himself, too, if that was the case. And since Naito did a number on Cobb, Ospreay was only accompanied by O'Connor and Hinari for the main event. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you did allude to it. It might have busted his nose. And Elizabeth also says, another match of the year candidate. And to me, that's 3 matches, and we're only 5 days into the new year. You damn right. Okay, so this was a rematch, of course, from Wrestle Kingdom 15, high into the possible highest echelons it could be, as will Ospreay call himself the real IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, unpinned, unsubmitted, undefeated, as he, of course, been all over the world gaining titles, coming out as the belt collector himself to a degree, wherein the Rev Pro and the Warriors Wrestling Heavyweight Championship and the British Heavyweight Championship as well, adorned in gold. As he came out here with all the bravado in the world, he was much more vocal. He was literally calling himself the real champion throughout this whole match. And he was basically saying, Okada, you are weak. You are a fake champion. This company is nonsense. I am the real heavyweight champion. It was almost like he was bolstering himself, maybe boosting his own confidence, knowing how big this was for him, because he needed to get the win here. He needed this so much. He wanted this so badly. He even said, I want Okada. There you go. So, yeah, these two started off pretty subtle, of course. We had the simple exchange at one point where both men are jostling each other for control of the ring. At one point, Shizuka Kota Ibushi, Okada hits Ospreay with a shoulder tackle, and Ospreay just boing, shoulder springs back up. Real key moment here, though, was when Ospreay was working on the back that was constantly worked over by Shingo Takagi previous day, and the face and the neck area of Okada. And as you said, the real key turning point, first key turning point, was that crazy, ridiculous, high velocity, constant spinning sidewalk slam. That was definitely the real first turning point in this match, and then things just escalated from there. Big key spot going from there. You had at one point both men on the apron, and a shotgun drop out the apron took Ospreay off. But to the way that Ospreay knows Okada, as he was going to go for what we saw the previous night with Shingo, Ospreay kicks him out of midair, I think in the midsection, and Okada lands hard on the right knee. Might
Yes.
I add, the leg and knee he pushes through when he does the Rainmaker. And we saw him go for the money clip countless times in this match. Maybe he felt like, okay, maybe I can beat Ospreay with this. Maybe I need to prepare for the Rainmaker, or maybe I can't deliver the Rainmaker the way I want now, because that knee was bugging him the whole match following that point. As these two continue to just well into each other, furious counter exchanges of offense. We try to go for the Rainmaker. No, that gets countered. He goes for the Stormbreaker. That gets countered. The first exchange at one point leads to both men increasing velocity to once again, shotgun dropkick missed, dropkick denied. He goes for the dropkick again, and Ospreay catches him again out of midair. How do you do that in a freaking sit-out powerbomb? And we all thought that was it. It was
And
not
that
meant
was
to be, and you
perfect.
thought this was the craziest this match was going to get. Nope, not by a long shot. Later on, these two, they're still going after each other. We get everything here. We get the Chelsea Grin. We get the Hidden Blade. We thought the Hidden Blade was it towards the very end. And the bravado of Ospreay mocking the Rainmaker like Shingo. Again, you reap what you sow. But this was a whole different reaping because Okada did a Stormbreaker.
He
What?
did.
He never's done that before his entire career. Holy hell. And still was not enough to put away Will Ospreay. As of course, he got a near fall on that. Ospreay, of course, put off the Os Cutter and the Super Os Cutter as well, neither of which led to victory as well. It was almost like Ospreay knew he had to pull the Storm Cutter out if he was going to win this. He even pulled out Okada's own Rainmaker against him to try and set it up.
Yep.
You go later on for another exchange where literally Okada is baiting Ospreay to hit me harder, bring me what you got. And at one point, we thought that Okada was finally going to hit the true Rainmaker, and Ospreay counters that into a freaking standing Spanish fly. That is not normal physics, okay? I don't care what you freaking tell me. At the end of the day, though, as this match really reaches a boiling point where both men are down, they are literally slapping each other, forearming each other, testing each other's wills, maybe trying to reignite each other's fighting spirit to go even further than they already have. And boy, did they. After another exchange where literally at one point he tries to go for the Sasuke special, gets caught in a pile driver. We get chased of that again as he goes for the Stormbreaker, gets countered, it goes into a pile driver. No, gets countered again. But then finally, as Ospreay thinks he's finally got him, no, Okada, he finally hits him with the landslide. And finally, another emphatic Rainmaker puts away the Commonwealth Kingpin, and Kazuchika Okada has finally defeated the one unpinned, unsubmitted, undefeated, and has claimed his place as the one true real IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Holy hell, my God, what a war.
Yeah, and listen, folks, I want to say Will Ospreay gave it everything he had. I actually started a list of all the things that he did and kicked out. Like he did the Super Oz Cutter, the regular Oz Cutter, the Shooting Star Press, another Shooting Star Press with Okada hanging over the top rope. He literally did everything he possibly could. And you know what? I'm not 100% sure if I listened to the right after match words that Ospreay spoke, but I don't even. And I could have. There could be another one where he spoke, but after the match, Ospreay didn't even have any words. Unless I looked at the wrong video, the clip that I watched, they asked him a question. He had no response. He had nothing to say. Unless, like I said, there was another clip that I missed. I don't even know what Ospreay could do if they had a rematch. He did everything he possibly could, and that's why I said in the opening, I think this was Okada's day. I don't think anybody that laces up a pair of boots in professional wrestling does professional wrestling for a living could have beat the Rainmaker on this day. Just he wasn't having it, and there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to end up walking out. About halfway through, I really thought to myself, there's no way Okada's losing this. It's his day, and it actually turned out being that it was his day.
I felt like when they talk about the Kenny Omega references, at one point we literally did get a bang type V trigger rising knee strike by Ospreay, and he even headbutted the man, and he survived one Rainmaker. This felt as personal as Omega and Okada was. And those two had 4 matches amongst each other, while Ospreay and Okada have had a career of matches among each other. Back when Ospreay was just a teen and a junior heavyweight, bringing him into New Japan in the first place, back at Rev Pro. This goes much further and deeper and personal with these two than it did with Okada and Omega, but it still felt like it gave me those same vibes, so I kind of understood where they were coming from. And as far as these two meet up again and how you go further than this, and what else Ospreay could have done, again, the only thing Ospreay didn't hit was the Stormbreaker. And to this day, we will not know if he have hit that. Would that have been the difference in Will Ospreay finally stopping the reign? But as the United Empire falls to just rubble and the rain cascades over it, we now know who's next to challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And boy, what a callback. The guy that said he was going to be part of the main event but wasn't, but state his claim the main event to challenge this Rainmaker first for this title. A whole new set of circumstances and a whole new Okada and maybe the same Naito. We'll have to wait and see. But Tetsuya Naito, he has called out Okada and wants to challenge him for it. Okada's like, okay. But before I talk more about that, Elizabeth says, other 2 matches, Sayosake and Nakajima from January 1st and Okada Takagi from January 4th. Yeah, and again, Okada 2 days back to back. He pulled it off. He did it. Just like Kota Ibushi did last year, and just like Ospreay was in the white position, he did do it. Literally, Okada, over an hour-long plus professional wrestling action within 48 hours, has taken his place now as the champion, the standard bearer, the leader, some would say the hope of New Japan Professional Wrestling. And as Okada broke down emotion after accepting Naito's challenge, talking about how he wants to push his company forward, he accepts this now, and he will make it rain, and he will get to a point now and lead this company back to the point where we will hear the fans once again. We will go worldwide with expansion once again. We will come back together and unite the world under New Japan Pro Wrestling once again. I feel Okada truly is the guy to do it, so he was the right guy to win it all. Will even intimidated the ring announcer to call him the real champion when he entered the ring. Again, Will Ospreay, I felt like more so was challenging not only Okada but himself. He felt so confident. He felt like he had this. He felt like he knew he had this, but he also knew he needed this. And in the end, it was not enough. But again, Okada gives respect to Ospreay. You're a hell of a wrestler. You're a hell of a champion presented. But again, there's only one true champion. We'll see what you bring next time. And from what I read, Ospreay is staying in NJPW. He's going nowhere. Good to know.
And Okada said after the match, and I wrote it down because it rang so true. He said, "I'm the real champion. You are the real deal." And that was well said because taking nothing away from Ospreay, but that was an incredible match. And you said he didn't hit the Stormbreaker, and I stand corrected on that because I could have swore that he hit one. Maybe I obviously he didn't. So now that leaves it open. Now that's going to be lingering in his mind. Is that what I needed to do to get this victory? And he's gonna have to marinate on that until the rematch. And I'm actually glad that leaves a little question mark because that does leave room for a rematch. I thought that he specifically did everything in his arsenal, which he didn't, which I'm glad to know that he didn't. There is still something hanging on. There is a chance that maybe on another night that Will Ospreay could get the best of the Rainmaker, but like I said, tonight wasn't the night.
No, and again, Okada pulling out the Stormbreaker. This goes to show that this is the best Okada ever in Kazuchika Okada history, and this guy's on a whole other damn level. 10 years ago, as part of their 40th anniversary, Naito challenged Okada. Now, as part of their 50th, Naito challenged him again. Love that smile from Okada when Naito arrived. Well, it was Tetsuya Naito who said, hey, let's do it again, Okada. When Naito beat Okada to become the first person to hold both belts. Now this single brand new belt, Naito wants to hold it and beat Okada for it. This Okada. Again, it's a new Okada, but is it a new Naito? That's the question, because I don't know if the Naito we've seen before can beat this Okada. That's all I got to say about that. And shout out to Gabriel Watson. Hello there. And that being said, folks, that was your 2-day extravaganza Wrestle Kingdom 16 event. Holy hell. definitely at least 3 matches that I would definitely consider match of the year candidates. Definitely Okada and Shingo and Okada and Ospreay. I would say Hiromu and El Desperado with the statement that El Desperado made in beating Hiromu is definitely up there too. And overall, these 2 days, despite the fact one match will always go down as infamous, but I digress. I fairly enjoyed what these 2 key days in the Tokyo Dome brought once again, setting up a precipice for standards in just jaw-dropping, take your breath away, 5-star plus classics in professional wrestling. Mark, you're closing thoughts on these first 2 days and this Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, good Lord, man! We need a whole nother show just to talk about them.
Yeah,
Um,
I know.
I couldn't pick, but just to some bulletin notes, I gotta say, the Shibata match is gonna stick with me. I think Ren Narita was the perfect person to step in that X spot. I'm glad that they put the future in front of Shibata. And I tell you what, I think I said it last night on the review when Ren came out, it looked like a miniature version, like another version of Shibata,
Yeah,
like the
they did.
haircut, everything. And just to see the real Shibata come out right after that was just incredible. That's why I said that was perfect for Narita to come out there. And the fact that he's giving Ren the rub instead of maybe like somebody, I think you suggested maybe Suzuki or maybe somebody else. I mean, that would have been great, no doubt. But the fact that they picked Ren, that was great because we hadn't seen him since September of 19. So that was great. I want to say that. Oh,
Oh, there we go.
about that.
There,
And I
you're
and
good.
I want to say that Tanahashi splash off the ladder. That's a moment that's going to stick with me. And as far as you know, no, I said something about this earlier, and I know some people might say that this match was even dull to them, but the Sonata and the Great Okan told a great story, man. I swear they really did. I really enjoyed that matchup, and I didn't think that I would when I first heard that it was announced. Um, I did like how Noah invaded. I think that was kind of ballsy of them to do. I think they
Yeah.
definitely drew the line in the sand, and they're definitely gonna be out to make a statement come the eighth. Um, Nakajima had this little smart aleck smirk on his face that, you know what, I like Nakajima, but I wouldn't be lying if I said that I would like to see Nakajima get pinned in that, come the eighth. But I guess we'll have to wait in the eighth and see. But either way, it was a great Wrestle Kingdom. 2 nights so far, and you got to think they did that without God. They did that out without Jay White. They did it out without the Golden Star. I mean, and they did it without any top foreigners. We didn't see Moxley, we didn't see Archer, and they pulled these 2 nights off, and they entertained me both nights. And it was a great way to kick off 2022. And I can't wait to see what Naito does when he steps in front of the Okada wearing this title, because it is a new Okada. But is it, like you said, is this a new Naito though? I feel like his mind frame now, it's either going to shit or get off the pot. And I feel like Naito thinks in his mind, whether it's the truth or not, that this could be one of his last chances. So I think he's going to put a lot into this program. So I think that whenever that we do see that match, it's going to be one hell of a match.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And again, Stardom, congratulations. And I can't wait to see what's the future ahead for Stardom. I hope they're more involved in NJPW platforms too. Put them on Dontaku, Dominion. Give me more of them as well. About Naito Okada, feel like a time limit draw maybe in the midst. Can't predict a winner right now. And that is the hour mark, so his phone might have just died. Well, uh, we'll see if he gets back in here because, again, I think he pretty much summed up everything that I could possibly say. Again, it was New Japan Pro Wrestling's roster that came out and showed out. It might not have been the strongest crowd attendance because, again, the pandemic, but the passion, the investment, and the quality was definitely there. And overall, I was not disappointed by this event when I look at the entire 2-day showcase. Thank you again, Mark Griffith, for being a part of the Simple Takes with me on NJPW. I hope we continue doing more of these going forward. Follow him, folks, on Twitter. Follow all the wrestling teams: Team NJPW, Team AEW, Team Impact, Team NWA. Just follow them all on Facebook for positive communities on professional wrestling. And if you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Again, congratulations to Okada, El Desperado, Shibata, and Narita for the moment that you created. There was so much wonderful stuff here. And again, Saya and Tom, congrats on your big win at Wrestle Kingdom 2. I can only imagine how important that felt as well. As we look ahead, folks, towards day 3, are you Noah or are you NJPW? Do you have a side? Are you a bit mixed based on the matches? Love to hear your thoughts, and I will be back following that too whenever I may watch it, whether it's Saturday or a week later. Because again, this is about NJPW. For me as a fan, gotta defend the home turf too, as long as the House of Torture loses. That's the only loss I'll take for NJPW. That being said, let's go ahead and see here. Can't wait for Saturday. Cheering for LIJ, Desperado's team, and Tanahashi Okada from NJPW for win. Everyone else cheering Noah. Fair enough. And again, I really do hope that we see Kaiji Muto versus Okada because that's the match I want to see. Or Goshio challenge Lariat for Lariats. But I digress. Thanks for the review. Can't wait for the next one. It was fun hearing Mark's opinion. It's always an extreme pleasure being with my friend Mark, and I can't wait to do it again with him too. But that's really all I got to say for now, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for more fun, simple content like this too and engagement at nfoster1916. And as always, I like to close. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no bears. They're just fans with an opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another and respect each other. And just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. It's as simple as that. I will be back with Teddy Turnbuckle Network and the lovely Synergy in Cairo to review the TBS premiere of AEW Dynamite. I will be back here tomorrow night for Impact Predictions panel with the Mad General himself, Jerry Slaughter, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will preview and predict and discuss Hard to Kill in full, and that will be the start also of my Impact Wrestling Top 4 Preview Predictions League. Come join the fun. The form will be on my Twitter come tomorrow morning. Again, congratulations to those that won the first in my NJPW Predictions League games. Christopher, Jeremy, and Casey, you did extremely well. And stay tuned as I will be doing play-by-play reactions and commentary-esque on the Jeff Meacher Network this Saturday for Impact Wrestling, Hard to Kill as well. Thank you, Matt Striker, for everything you did, by the way, for Impact Wrestling. I'm going to miss your voice, too. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy AW. Enjoy NJPW. Enjoy Stardom. Enjoy life. Be wise. Be smart. Be safe, too. I wish nothing but the best for all of you. Thank you for your continued support. We're off to a incredible start in professional wrestling for the new year as well. And I will see you next time for some more simple wrestling content, too. And shout out, of course, to my ATW family on Twitter. We'll be back with more views and fun. I assure you of that, too. See y'all next time. Look again, yo. And sayonara.